Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm actually really excited about this because this is how I started this channel, with Science or Not, and we're doing another Science or Not here. We haven't done a Science or Not for a really long time, but I'm super excited because we are talking today about Dr. Oz, our future supreme leader of the Medicare and Medicaid program. He has quite a career on spreading misinformation or disinformation, often packaged into a TV show. And we're looking today at a really good one. Negative calorie foods. Yeah. I'm sure I will get comments on this like, oh, negative calorie foods are real and we tried them and they're amazing and you just don't know what you're talking about and blah, 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 blah. Because that's what I typically get on this channel, apparently. But honestly, I don't care. The information I provide is well researched. If you don't like my videos, you don't have to watch it. Go to a different channel. Negative calorie foods. The theory, dare I say, the lie of negative calorie foods is that you can't eat food, certain types of food, and the digestion process will burn more calories than the food that you eat. Now in the category of people that believe in calorie deficits, but they still want to cheat. What negative calorie foods are actually there? Apples, berries, any kind of berry, I guess. Broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, celery, cucumbers, grapefruit, and of course kale. To be completely fair, those are very healthy foods, and they can be or should be even part of a diet plan, but they don't give you calories back. I want to just get something out of the way before we dig into what my all-time favorite TV doctor has to say about this. Negative calorie foods do not exist. It's fake. You can't have it. Period. Full stop. They do not exist. We found a few studies. There's one doctor in Iran who's working on negative calorie foods, and then there's another study done in Europe on animals which were fed mostly with celery, which is a low calorie food, but it's not a no or zero or negative calorie food. And then calories were tracked through the digestion system all the way to the poop of that animal, and then several animals. It's a repeated study, of course. And of course, the calories ended up in the biomass of the animal, even if it only ate celery. Can you actually imagine that poor lizard eating all the time celery? I would not be a happy animal. So the other study was done on human subjects, obese human subjects. They got two different diets. They got a negative food diet, negative calorie food diet, and then they got a low calorie food diet. And surprise, surprise, there was no difference in their weight loss between the negative and the low calorie food diet. And that's enough of Professor Science here. Let's watch the video.
Promising a new safe and easy way to shed pounds. Go online. You don't have to look far to find a negative calorie plan. They're everywhere. And so are so-called negative calorie foods like celery, cucumbers, lettuce, apples, even grapefruit.
Okay, guys, those are healthy foods, very healthy foods. I personally don't like celery at all, but they're very healthy foods, but they're definitely not low negative calorie foods.
The idea? When you eat negative calorie foods, your body burns more calories digesting them than you ingest. And the more you eat, the more you lose.
Are we really going there? Are we really going there? Oh my god. Okay, well, so there's a lot to unpack, but I'm gonna go through the video.
We've told you the truth about zero-calorie foods. Today, the bottom line on negative calorie foods. Will they lead you to victory in the war on fat?
Here's how these negative calorie foods claim to work. Eat an apple, an orange, and a mango salad, let's say, right? Put them all together, it's got 175 calories. Your body uses 220 calories, in theory, working hard to digest that salad. That means you've actually burned off an extra 45 calories.
Okay, do you guys all know how ridiculous this claim is? Do you know how much 45 calories, I guess he's talking kilocalories. Do you know how much 45 kilocalories actually is? That's a good walk half an hour, to burn 45 kilocalories. So really think you burn that many calories by eating an apple, orange, and mango salad? Think about it. Of course not. They're healthy, very healthy. It should be part of a diet any time, but you're not burning more calories than you eat if you eat an apple. That's just ridiculous claim.
Calories from your stored fat even while you were eating. Audience, what do you guys think about that? Does that sound too good
I can tell you what I think about it.
to be true?
Sure it does. Sure it does. Sounds too good to be true.
A little suspicious, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I would.
It's just like holding the microphone. Didn't even have time to answer. Look, it's just crazy.
If I could actually do that, but if I give you those foods, would you eat them?
Sure.
Do you realize that he only has girls sitting there with like one exception? There was one guy and the rest is all girls. Do you actually see that? Can we go back to this? I want to see this. Alright, let's play it again. See, 1, 2.
Sure it does.
Like
Sounds
the
too good.
prop
to be true.
guy
Little
right
suspicious,
there.
huh?
Yeah.
You
What
know.
do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, I
And then
agree.
3,
I would.
4. It's
If
all
I could
girls.
actually do that, but if I give you those foods,
Oh my god, this is ridiculous. It's all girls.
Why not?
What
Give
the
it a shot,
fuck,
right?
man?
are you suspicious about the
What
math
the-
that it's
look at
possible
that.
to eat food and lose weight because of it?
No, I don't know.
Oh my god. I would love to be part of the show one time. Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz. I don't even know how you say your name. I don't give a shit. Dr. Oz, invite me to your show. I want to be in this prop. I'm going to wear a dress for you too.
Not sure.
And makeup if you want me to look like that.
I'm not sure.
No problem.
Yeah, there are a lot of folks who are stuck in the middle. I actually am a little skeptical about the concept, but I understand the appeal of these foods, and so I was curious if the science actually supports the hype. So I sent
I can tell you right now, we're doing a science or not, and I researched this topic quite a lot, but I can tell you right now, science does not support this at all. Nada. But we can go through emotions here with Dr. Oz together. Our new incoming director of Medicare in the United States. It's great. Great. We're only recruiting top people in the country. Just to let you know, only the best of the best are getting the jobs here.
Jenna Wolf, journalist, fitness expert, and of course one of my core team experts, to one of the top labs in the country that studies and researches the science of metabolism. Here is what she found.
Hey, Dr. Oz, we're talking today about foods that cause you to lose weight. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said lose weight. These are so-called negative calorie foods. And to see if this stuff really works, we came down here to one of the epicenters of metabolism research in the United States. We're here at the Milken Institute School of Public Health at George Washington University, and I'm going to play the role of guinea pig here to see what effect, if any, these so-called negative calorie foods play on the body. Mind you, if this works, it could be the holy grail of dieting.
So in the metabolic labs, what they do in metabolic labs is they very typically, they can do a lot of things, but what they usually do is assessing your metabolic rate. Usually your resting metabolic rate, also sometimes called the basal metabolic rate, so RMR or BMR, and I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to do with her too.
If it works. I'm here with Dr. Todd Miller. He's the director of the Weight Management Laboratory here. Todd, what's going to happen now? What are we doing?
Todd.
Well, Jenna, different foods metabolize differently in the body. So what we're going to do is measure whether or not these so-called negative calorie foods actually have any effect on your metabolism.
Okay, great.
Now, you haven't eaten anything at all today, correct?
No, I've eaten nothing. I'm actually starving, not even coffee. Can I eat something now? Or?
No, not quite yet. First,
Okay.
we have to measure your resting metabolic rate.
Now that's the rate that my body breaks down calories completely at rest, right? Without food?
That's correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook you up to this machine. This is a Cosmed metabolic cart. And
I don't want to say anything about calling it.
we're going to measure
Resting metabolic rate is RMR. That's what they're going to look at right now here, which typically, I want to say just very typically, the RMR is measured not after somebody already jumped around in front of a camera. Usually it's measured early in the morning, first thing in the morning. So you usually wouldn't have woken up, or you just woke up, got there, and you calm down because you really want to get a good feeling about how many calories this body burns completely at rest with a low heart rate, with no food in the digestion system, with nobody who did exercise before. So that's really what you would like to know. Let's go and see what hers is.
Measure the amount of oxygen that your body's consuming at rest. By knowing how much oxygen you're burning, we can calculate how many calories you're burning.
Well, let's do that then. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that's how it works. Because, for respiration, you need oxygen. Oxygen is used to generate ATP in your body. And ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is the exchange currency of the body for energy. And that is what's happening here. So that's a pretty legit method, actually.
Let's go.
Okay. Oxygen in, CO2 out. My resting metabolic rate. It's my starving metabolic rate.
Okay, Jenna, the test is over. Do you want to know how many calories you're burning?
Yes.
Without moving a finger, without eating any food at all, you're burning 1,437 calories per day.
All right, so that's an extrapolation, but that's quite accurate. Typically, the resting metabolic rate for women is somewhere between 1,400 to 1,600, and for men is somewhere between 1,600 to 1,800. Typically, if you have more lean muscle mass, it increases your resting metabolic rate. But again, just to give you an idea how ridiculous those claims are that you can save like 70, 80, 40 calories by eating apples. If you have 5 pounds of extra lean muscle mass, and everyone who goes to the gym knows how difficult it is to gain 5 pounds of muscle. If you have 5 pounds of extra lean muscle mass, that will add around 30 calories to your RMR, to your resting metabolic rate. 30. 5 pounds of muscle. So you really think that if you eat an apple, you burn 40. Think about it. Typically also is, depending how active we are, the resting metabolic rate is somewhere between 80 and 60% of what we actually burn during the day, because none of us is just lying around the entire day not doing anything. Anyways, let's go and see what's going on now.
Great.
Could we eat?
Yep, let's eat.
Thank you. This is what is sometimes referred to as negative calorie food. So I got together with our medical team and we
Sometimes. Never is the better word. This is never being referred to as negative calorie food, because it's just freaking BS negative calorie foods.
looked up on the internet. What are some of the key foods that are supposed to give us negative
I love if they look up shit on the internet, you know. How about looking shit up like on scientific publications, you know? You would learn something if you would look up and see if negative calorie food that you find on a website somewhere is actually something that exists. But you know what? No problem.
calories? So you have your cucumber, apples, celery, carrots, watermelon, strawberries. All of this comes up to 500 calories.
I hate celery.
Which will be consumed by me right now.
It's a passionate, simple hate.
This is good.
Well, you know, at least they put the calories to the foods. That's not too bad, you know. And it's good food. I eat like this. I think this is what people should eat like over the day. Maybe not in one meal, but this is low calorie dense, extremely healthy food. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables in the morning. For example, I have often blueberries and pumpkin with yogurt and oats. And for breakfast, I often have kales and carrots and cucumbers for lunch, together with eggs or bread or chicken. And then for dinner, I often eat like another fruit and a lot of vegetables like kales, mushrooms. It's doable. I think this is very healthy food, but it's not negative calorie food. You're eating 500 calories right now. That's what you're eating. But anyhow, let's move on with this.
This is a lot. This is a lot of food. Celery, apples.
Yes, we call that low calorie dense foods. It is a lot of food and not a lot of calories. 500 calories, a Big Mac burger has 550. A Big Mac burger is probably like a quarter of this portion, if at all.
Cucumber, watermelon, strawberries, carrots. This is a lot of food. All right, well, I'm not hungry anymore.
I'm sure you're not. That was a lot of food.
That was a lot of food.
Yeah. So now we're going to run the test again, and we're going to see whether or not your metabolic rate has changed after eating that meal.
So we're going to...
Of course it has changed. Anyways, the The RMR, so the rest metabolic rate, or the BMR, whatever is usually measured first thing in the morning when your heart rate is down, your muscles are not activated. So now she's more active, her digestion system is working because she just ate, her heart rate is most likely up, so she was burning more calories, she's burning more calories there as well. So of course she will have a different outcome because she just ate. You know, but it doesn't matter what she eats, she would have the same thing, like no matter what she will be eating. But I love that if they trick people into like pseudoscience.
To see an estimate of how many calories my body burned while eating all of it.
That's exactly right. So we're going to sit back down and we're going to put the mask on and we're going to take the test again.
Let's do it. So I have to sit here for another 15 minutes, but this time I won't get the results. Those are going straight to Dr. Oz.
Jenna Wolf is there. Now, we're going to get to those results in a second, but this is your sweet spot. You live for this.
I love data. I love knowing what's going on inside my body. I love knowing how we process food, how it turns into caloric output. This was like a toy land for me. I love this.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you so much. You're so
Oh my God, look at this.
fantastic for sending me down
We
there.
even fed you.
Yes, you did, because that was a well-balanced meal, let me tell you.
So, ready to hear your results?
Yeah, I'm dying to.
She's dying to. I
Dying
like
to.
this. All right, let's go to the videotape here. These are the scoreboards for you.
Okay.
The resting metabolic rate, we heard the package was 1,437 calories. That's pretty typical, by the way, for a lot of women.
That's my metabolism.
Yeah, so that is true. That is very typical for a lot of women. 1,400 to 1,600 is, again, a very average resting metabolic rate. And then again, for men, it's usually a little bit higher depending on your weight and your height. Let's move on.
Before doing anything without eating it, that's how many calories I'm burning throughout the course of the day.
And of course, everything gets added to that. But
Right.
if you do nothing else,
Nothing.
that's not a lot of food.
Right.
That is also true. 1,437 calories is not a lot of food. But again, typically your resting metabolic rate is about, depending on your activity, between 60 and 80% of your total caloric maintenance that you have per day.
So the question is, what can we do to increase that number to make it a more...
Walk. We can walk to increase this number, or get up and move around, or we can just go to the gym, or we can go for a hike, or we can go for a run.
a livable number.
Exactly.
So the little experiment involved you eating that 500-calorie gourmet meal I prepared for you.
So good. It's so tasty.
It's
Yeah.
the drolly, she says. All right, so that meal, actually, your results showed
Right.
that you burned 72 calories just to get through the meal.
Just eating that meal.
Just that one meal.
Wow. So that was a little bit on the nose. So what results, please? Can we see the results? How did they determine that there was 72 calories used to just go to this meal? Where's the numbers? He's just telling us, like 72 calories, but we haven't seen anything. So I wonder how they determine those 72 calories. That's just like, that screams already lying to me. In Germany, we would call this Quacksalber. Like, just imagine in a typical gym session, let's say you go to the gym for 1 hour, you lift weights, you probably burn like 150, maybe 200 calories, and you're lifting weights. You really think you can burn 70 calories by eating vegetables?
So, Dr. Oz, what happened to the 500 calories that I just ate?
So you think you ate 500 calories, and if it had been butter or something bad for you, it would have been 500 calories that would have gone to your hips, so you would have to exercise off.
Right.
But you didn't really eat 500 calories.
Guys, it doesn't matter what you eat. You can eat 500 calories of butter, you can eat 500 calories of vegetables. 500 calories are 500 calories.
Your body thinks you ate 500 calories minus the 72 because you burned off 72 calories.
Based on the food I was eating.
Based on those specific foods, because they tend to change your body and trick your body. This is a huge breakthrough because fundamentally what we're saying is that you can actually get a discount. Imagine going shopping and getting, 20% off of all.
This is a huge scam. It's not a huge breakthrough. What the hell? Look at his face, man. Which is not a huge break. It's a huge scam. That's what this is. I don't even know. He might believe in this shit. Who knows?
All the food you could eat.
Right.
That means you can get away with stuff you couldn't gotten away with before. So in theory,
Did you see her face? Did you see like how she's like listening to this and like not believing it at all?
just
Look
three
at it.
meals of that very
Look at
nature,
her
you have
face.
to burn off
There you go.
216 calories.
She's like, what the hell is going on? Oh, wait, something's happening.
Those are free calories.
Oh my god, this is so scripted. This is so scripted. This is so stupid.
Basically.
They're just doling them out to you. That's, running a couple miles. It's a lot of activity.
216 calories. I just see it. 216 calories. You guys know how much 216 calories are. That's like a jog. Like a 30-minute jog. That's like, 1 hour in the gym. That's like an hour walk almost. What are you guys talking about? Come on. 200 calories.
Basically, what we're saying is your metabolic rate goes
If you look at her face, you can totally see how uncomfortable she is. She definitely knows this is bullshit.
from a depressingly low
Look at that.
1,437. The new metabolic rate becomes
Look at that face. That is the face of a woman who knows that this guy is only spewing bullshit.
1,653, which
Just
is...
This is so stupid. I don't even know where to start with this. This is like, this guy is becoming our next Medicare director.
By eating the right foods.
Yes, this is a big deal, everybody.
It's not a big deal. It's a big scam. It's so bad. It is an absolute scam.
Big deal, because small little shifts like that every single day of your life...
Okay, guys. So 200 calories is a lot, right? We already established that. You're not going to burn 200 calories by just eating apples, celery, and cucumbers the entire day. I don't care who you are, on which planet you live on, Dr. O's planet maybe, This will not happen to you. 200 calories. Oh my God.
add up. And to really explain what it means, I brought in a world expert. Let's join
Okay.
a colleague of ours. He's a leading authority in disease prevention. He's also the author of The Negative Calorie Effect, Dr. Neil Barnard. And you've been studying this for decades. And there is a ton of misperception, including among brainiacs like Jenna here, who didn't really know much.
Brainiacs. Yeah, compared to this guy, everyone is a brainiac. Compared to this guy, an amoeba would be a brainiac.
About them.
Right here.
What are these foods actually doing to us? How is it possible we get a free ride on some foods?
Well, because they work with your natural biology. Every cell in your body has...
Okay, so Neil Barnard, he proposes a few things that I actually wholeheartedly agree with. For example, he proposes to eat more fruit and vegetables. So he also says instead of following like some sort of very restrictive diet to lose weight, you want to change what you eat. That's also what we are saying on this channel, so I kind of agree with that as well. Let's see what he says with the negative calorie foods.
burners in it. Just like your kitchen has a burner, these foods turn that on in a process called thermogenesis. So,
All right, guys. So now, thermogenesis. So what we are talking actually here is diet-induced thermogenesis. So that is the process that he claims is responsible for negative calorie foods to be negative calorie foods. So let's see if that actually is true. So thermogenesis is a process that happens in many animals. They're not always diet-induced. Most of them are actually not diet-induced. Some of them are adaptive based on temperature or other things that we can sense. And there's a huge body of knowledge out there. Here's the hypothesis how it might work. So bear with me. Can become very sciencey. UCP1 is a gene that codes for uncoupling ATP synthesis from respiration. You remember ATP? I mentioned it earlier. Adenosine triphosphate. That's a short-term energy currency in the cell. It is not very stable. It needs to be synthesized from a long-term energy savings account, like a carbohydrate or a fat cell, and then is transported in the cell and then used for whatever needs to be done in the cell, for example, a muscle movement. So that's ATP. That's our cell short-term energy currency. And that usually ATP generation is coupled with respiration. So the higher your respiration rate is, the more ATP you generate. So UCP1 is a gene that we have that uncouples that correlation between respiration and ATP synthesis. So that means in some circumstances when UCP1 is activated, ATP can only generate heat, but it's not coupled to respiration, so there's no other function it has in the cell. So this process that ATP can be used only to generate heat is called adaptive thermogenesis. And that is pretty well described in a lot of animals. As an example, hibernation. Bears or other mammals that hibernate, they have very low respiration rates, but they still need to generate a certain amount of heat. So their UCP1 is often expressed and activated so that they can generate heat, although their body is actually in a resting state. The problem is with diet-induced thermogenesis, which is what Dr. Bernard here says, it would only work if we would uncouple ATP from respiration, which would require the UTP1 gene to be activated or upregulated by diet-induced changes. That is what would be required to make this happen on a cellular level. So, experiments with mice shows that there are diet-induced thermogenesis. The diet which has been shown where it works with mice is a high protein, high fat diet. It's not a low protein, high fiber diet. It's the exact opposite of that. Those mice were overeating on protein and fat, and then they started to generate heat without any other bodily function. We don't know if this is happening in humans. We have no idea if this is like something that happens in humans as well. Enough professory science right now.
So as soon as you start eating them, you start getting this extra burn that you wouldn't have otherwise.
So specifically.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to stop here again because this just doesn't make any sense. It goes pretty much against human evolution to think about that if you eat something that is low calorie and low protein, to just burn, it would burn more calories. What's the point? You would starve to death. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Let's continue. I'm getting too upset about this. So much bullshit.
Progenic, the 216 calories a day that in theory she'd burn through. What does that actually mean?
Okay, so she comes into the laboratory, she hasn't eaten a thing, and she's burning calories fairly slowly. As soon as she begins eating, her body starts this thermogenesis process, so minute by minute.
No, her body doesn't start the thermogenesis process. Her body is just digesting the food. What are you talking about? I'm gonna probably stop this soon.
Minute, she's burning more and more and more calories. Now, had she eaten something different, a big stick of butter, some heavy cream, not going to work. Those are calories in that.
No, that is again also not true. You digest also a big stick of butter, although I don't recommend for anyone to eat that. Okay, I'm stopping it here. I hope you've learned a little bit about the science behind this. Thermogenesis is a thing, but it's well described under adaptive conditions, especially due to temperature, for example, in mammals. Diet-induced thermogenesis is also a thing, but it seems to be induced mostly by high protein, high fat diets, and not by low protein, high fiber diets. And I hope that you also learned that you can't trust a show that has anything to do with Dr. Oz. I think my takeaway from this is fruit and vegetables are healthy and you should eat them. They are low calorie dense foods. Everyone should eat 5 or more fruit and vegetables, whole foods every day. We promote this all the time on this channel, but they will not give you your calories back. Subscribing to my channel would help because we're helping to educate our audience. Hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe. See you soon. I'm out.